Greetings viewers. As I was scavenging through my closet, I came across this little baby that I wore in 2013 for my muck-up day, or my graduation as you would call it, as I dressed up as the Tramp, Charlie Chaplin's character. I've been looking over my reviews, I've been doing this since 2014, and I thought, why not give more development, make people more interested in what you are saying about these movies that you're so passionate about. So I'm going to finish this list and go all out. So here it is. In 1889, Charles Spencer Chaplin was born in England. He was raised throughout London in a life of poverty where he would work in performance. He'd go on travelling shows and work in musical halls and whatnot, where he developed himself as a comical actor. And then in 1913, the young Chaplin was taken to America and he was picked up by Keystone Pictures for movie gigs, where he did a lot of acting in short films. By 1914 this all happened. While working for Keystone Pictures in their short films, he later developed the beloved Tramp persona in a short film he was working on at the time called Mabel's Strange Predicaments. That was the earliest stages of the Tramp, but was properly introduced in a later short film called Kid Auto Races at Venice. In May 1914, Charlie had taken duties directing for Keystone Pictures, where he would have his Tramp persona be the major star in the majority of the short films he directed. Then by 1920 he had done up to 52 or so films. Like that's a lot when you think about it, the span from 1914 to 1920. Then after that he started developing a new idea and working on his first feature film, and that is what we'll be talking about today, because that film is The Kid, which is this little baby right here. As I've been studying film over the years, I look to Charlie Chaplin's work and find it's the most inspirational and also stands the test of time, especially this film, which I consider one of his best. Written and directed by Charlie Chaplin in 1921, The Kid tells the story of a young boy who was abandoned as an infant by his mother, who thought she couldn't take care of the child. After the child is kidnapped in the car it was abandoned by these crooks, the kid is tossed into an alley. The Tramp character comes by and finds the child in the alley and takes the child home with him. Some people find money while they walk. The Tramp finds a fucking baby. Terrific. He gives the child his all, everything he can, and raises it to be a great young man, and then later young Fester. As 5 years have passed, the mother is regretting her dismissing of the child. The Tramp and the Kid live it up with each other as they go around conning people by breaking their windows and having them pay for it to fix them. The mother has become a star for herself but feels an empty void with not having her own child, so she gives to those of little wealth. With great emotion and storytelling, the mother and son unknowingly cross paths as she gives toys to the children and he happens to be one of them. Discussing with a friend, we talked over how a mother's intuition can sense their child, and this scene well captures that the mother is somehow able to feel her kid in her presence. With some latter comical slapstick fights between the kid and then a bully, then a brute and then the Tramp, the kid then gets sick. Once the Tramp explains to a doctor that he isn't a father and found a note when he found the child saying that he needs to take care of it, the doctor seeks the orphanage, or as it says in the movie, child orphanage asylum, and two men come and take the child away. Here again, the work of physical and Chaplin's acting emotion, he runs down after the car with the kid in it, dodging those trying to stop him and gets the kid back. This scene, I reckon, is the greatest as it captures the emotion, how not being the father that the Tramp is established in the movie, he acts like it. He's going to go all out to get this kid because he's given all, he raised this kid, and he's not going to let anyone stop him from raising this kid any further. And as the storytelling in this movie goes, in the emotion, that just captures the whole movie in its entirety. Chaplin's acting is top notch and the musical score hits the mark as this scene forwards and ends, creating a great sense of longing and love between these two characters. Once they hide out from authorities, the kid is then taken away from the Tramp again and taken back to his mother once she's seen the same note that was left with him as a baby at the start. The Tramp is then left lost and goes into a weird dream after wandering around trying to find the kid. He passes out on his front doorstep and then goes into this dream sequence. This scene includes players that were shown throughout the film, but in a heavenly dream state in their neighbourhood court area that is seen throughout the movie's entirety as well. From understanding, it captures the beauty that life has, but also the evils that can be encountered throughout life as well. Happiness and sadness, fulfillment and heartbreak. The tramp plays in this world with nothing but joy. Everyone is in a slum. Everyone's there being happy and so on, but reality from what's happened lifts its ugly head when demon characters and all that take away the beauty of this dream and puts him back into square one almost. No matter what the tramp does to escape, it literally shoots him down, to which he is then woken up on his front doorstep by the same officer that's been watching his every move throughout the movie, to which the officer takes him away from his slum to this erotic mansion, to where he finally meets the mother that abandoned the child at the start. But then he also reconnects with the child and it's just a happy ending. This movie captures such beauty that these people have nothing for the majority of the film except themselves. That it doesn't matter about if they're poor or anything like that, it's just they have their own love and beauty for each other and that nothing else matters around them. That's the main thing that matters, is love and happiness. Seeing such Charlie Chaplin movies from that point in time, it really captures that year it was set, that there was such poverty going on and that this is what people were living in, and that there's these characters that can connect with such thing as poverty. His writing is amazing with capturing the characters, the humour and the way of life of the time. With modern times, it captures that life is changing. This movie captures the now and what people are from rich to poor and the lives they lead. Seeing silent movies from that time really remind me of when I was younger, playing the game The Movies on the PC. For those who don't know, The Movies is an Activision game made for the PC that shows you creating this lot in Hollywood, your own film studio lot, and raising it from above ground. You start from the 1920s. That's why it reminds me of such films like The Kid and all the Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton stuff. And you raise it from the ground up. You look after your employees, you look after the cast, the crew, directors, writers, and you're just the big head honcho, just making sure everything goes well. And as the years go by, you win awards for best movie, as you're making movies and having the best lot, and just something like that really flashbacks me to a time playing the early stages in the movies on my old PC, and it was just a lot of fun. Those who aren't familiar with Charlie Chaplin's films and love cinema as much as I do really need to check this stuff out, because alright, as it goes, you'll start from The Kid. As his career develops, you go from Gold Rush, City Lights, Modern Times, then The Great Dictator, and then finally, I think one of my second favourite Charlie Chaplin films is Limelight. And it really establishes, like I said earlier, the time on which it's set, but also his career. In The Kid, he's a fresh young man starting off in film, and then by Limelight, after his stint with the tramp character, he's gone into himself and he's just an old man wanting to show the world that he still has a lot left in the tank. After the silent era ended, starting with the movie The Jazz Singer, which was technically the first ever movie with sound, people like Chaplin and Buster Keaton, or even horror stars like Lon Chaney, were left behind and they couldn't figure out how to recover from this change. But Chaplin never let that bother him, going on after Modern Times to finally speak in The Great Dictator, respectfully retiring the tramp persona. Also, once you've seen the stuff of Charlie Chaplin, go and check out 1992's Chaplin film. It was directed by Richard Attenborough and starring Robert Downey Jr., who plays Charlie Chaplin. And it's amazing. As far as biopics go, they're a mixed bag on how they represent people, but I think they really did a good job in that film, and I really recommend it. The Kid is an endless classic. It's so rewatchable. It's only 60 or so minutes long, and throughout that 60 or so minutes, you go from laughing your ass off to feeling for these characters you're watching on the silver screen. And it is just such a touching and fun little movie. So, as we finish off here, I say thank you and God bless.